Hi, my name is Morgan, and I watched the video of Miss Marty Matson talking about the practical tips from a change agent. So for the first question, I answered it that as a new graduate registered nurse, I will apply the knowledge, skills, and attitudes that I have learned from this class to be a better leader in general on my unit, to see the coworkers that I have as equals, to take their thoughts and opinions into what I believe should be changed, and to see that everyone has input in the grand scheme of things for the big umbrella of change. I have always been a self-starter, and I've been known to be a good leader amongst others. Over the course of this semester, my personal opinion of a change agent has changed in the sense that I have seen that change is not going to happen overnight. If a change happens overnight, it's not going to end up good for the people who have to be affected by that change. If we were to slap a new charting system overnight without any prior training to what to do, the people who are immediately affected by that change are going to have such a difficult shift. They're not going to be able to administer medications correctly. They're not going to be able to do discharge orders correctly, maybe call consults. So it can lead to further problematic situations. So yes, it's not going to happen overnight, and you also need to have perseverance in order to see that change happen, because it's not going to happen overnight. For the second question, I answered that a conflict that I have personally encountered was the two older kids that I nanny just learned how to ride their bike. And now that they learned how to ride their bike, they want to go up and down the street, but we can't do that when I have two other kids that I need to keep my eyes on. And I try to keep, all kids within my line of sight, earshot, that whole thing. So they were going up and down the street, getting out of my line of sight. While I supported their sense of independence, they just learned how to ride their bike, and that they wanted to play outside, less noise inside. I needed to keep them safe. That's my obligation as a nanny. So what I did was I promised them that we would go for walks every single day after they got home from school, and after the younger kiddos woke up from their nap, go for a walk. They can ride their bike, and as long as the weather permits. And then what I've seen from this is that they are much more tired or relaxed. They take a step back and they're like, you know what? Going up and down our driveway and up and down our neighbor's driveway isn't the end of the world. We're still having fun. That's how I saw that. The third question I answered as an issue that I have noticed in the emergency department where I work as a tech is that contaminated blood cultures are unfortunately on the rise. And with this, this can cost thousands of dollars for not only the patient, but also the hospital. While we have a plan in place, our amazing unit director has put an excellent plan. We have these sheets that we follow, blood culture protocols that we follow step by step, so that way these contaminations don't happen. They have started to reorganize the unit. So now we can't find these blood culture contamination kits. So what I can constructively engage is that we can suggest a spot for the kits to quote unquote live in either the triage space or the nurse's station, or preferably both. The fourth question was, when one of my friends was struggling with passing tests in nursing school, I was a change agent by suggesting to her that we take 1 day a week to go to school, spend as much time as we needed, and study the material that would be on the test. When I saw the end result of her passing the class, this example impacted my ability by showing me the change may not always be major, but sometimes small steps of change can lead to bigger end results. As a new graduate nurse, 2 questions that I might ask my leader are, how do you effectively lead your team? And what are some current issues that you are working to resolve within your unit? Fifth question, stakeholders are the people who will be affected by the change. Initially, I would say that this is different than my prior understanding of the term. But now I have taken time to think on the term in the sense that Miss Marty Matson used in the interview, and I believe that both ways have similar meanings. For example, stakeholders of Disney may pay a percentage to the company and will be affected by major changes may be affected by the major changes the Disney company chooses to make. It is not so much different from being a hospital employee and being impacted by the change of a sepsis protocol, for example, and it is important to consider all stakeholders when implementing a change because everybody at each level will somehow be affected by it. The sixth question, when Miss Marty Matson shared shared what the staff RNs had to do and that they had to approach the hospital CEO in order to gain traction on their issue within their unit, it baffled me. If I was one of those RNs, I could demonstrate emotional intelligence, inclusivity, civility, and problem solving by conducting survey questionnaires with the other nurses on the unit, ask who would like to be included in this meeting, ensure that we have utilized every bit of brain power to fix the situation prior to going to the CEO, and structure a plan to show the CEO with how we intend to improve our lactate scores. I could harness the strength by showing them the simple cause and effect impact that something like lactate scores can have on the unit as a whole and the patient care that we deliver. Seventh question, the first important consideration that Miss Marty Matson said was you have to be committed to yourself, which I categorized as unfreeze. Second question was you have to be a good listener and work with people who don't agree with you. I categorized that as change. And the third one was persistence, refreeze. In my own words, I feel that a professional presence means to be a good person to your coworkers and to have their best interest in mind when implementing change. Thank you.